This. Welcome back to another stream, guys. This is GVS, where I cover all things sports. Still working on the tagline. Not gonna lie, we've been in this game for a little over a year, and I don't have a tagline at all. It's nothing. I don't know why. I just probably because I haven't given it much thought. Where like for example, like I'm trying to think of, gosh, just any YouTuber out there or something who has their fun intros or taglines or something. I guess I haven't thought of one over the. I've never thought of one. But anyways, guys, I'll quit rambling about that. Welcome back. Let's get into this, shall we? We got a couple things to talk about. One thing that I did want to talk about is I wanted to talk about the Sweet 16 because if you guys can't tell, March Madness is going on. And so I want to check in on the Sweet 16. I want to go over my bracket. I want to talk about my bracket. And because I'm going to be honest, my bracket it's busted. I had they've been talking about this too, which we can talk about this. I can give my thoughts on Hubert Davis, because not only him, but they've also been talking about Florida's head coach going to Kentucky, because both are out, and it's like, why? Help me understand, please. Why, after winning the national championship last year and going through the gauntlet that was last year, because Auburn was not a slouch. Auburn was a very good team. They had arguably one of the best players, with Janai Broom. I think it's him or Cooper Flagg. Those were, I think, the Heisman. I don't remember what the number one player is called in college basketball. I don't know what they call that award. I can only compare it to football because in football it's called the Heisman. But you could pick Janai Brunt or you could pick Cooper Flagg because those were the two top guys. And then, who Florida beat. And then, they won the national championship. And then even after a disappointing finish and not getting to the Sweet 16 because of a clutch bucket at the very end of the game and you lose to Iowa, all of a sudden, we're done. We're done. Thanks, but no thanks. Let's pack it up and we'll send you off to Kentucky. Go enjoy being a Wildcat. Like I don't get it. Here, let me fix that a little bit. That was bugging me. I'm not gonna lie, that was bugging me a little bit. I noticed over here. Let me pick up. Something here. Let me show. Voila. There we go. And then let me go over here because I realized I didn't have it there either. So we are boom, boom. Okay, we're good. Sorry, we're trying to be professionals here. You know how it is. But anyways, guys, welcome back to another stream. If you guys like sports stuff, I try to give my reactions to a lot of stuff. But if you like sports content, gaming live streams, just kind of run-of-the-mill, typical YouTuber stuff, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But let's get into it because there are a couple things that we got to talk about in this stream. I wanted to make a couple videos because there was some news that came out in the NFL today. We can talk about Jackson Smith-Njigba. We can talk about Zach Wilson. We can talk about Kyler Murray, even though I've given my thoughts on Kyler Murray. We can talk about which in fact, let me, hold on. I think I liked a post or something. I think I liked a post here. Maybe it covered a topic. Because we've talked about Cinderella runs. I don't even know what she's saying because she's fine. That's a fun video. We could talk about the NHL too, because we got to talk about the NHL, because the Penguins won tonight. I don't know about you, but the Penguins won tonight. So, all right. Oh, okay. Okay, I was not reading. Look at this. UNC fires Davis as North Carolina men's basketball coach. This happened 8. So about 6 o'clock, a couple hours ago. Hey, anybody want 10 shrimp and fries for $9.99? Let's read here. North Carolina men's basketball. Hold on, let me hold on. Pardon my French. Let me find something stupid to put. Hold on. Dude, I don't know what they're going to say with... Here. There we go. Sorry, men of culture. Here we go. North Carolina men's basketball coach Hubert Davis was fired by the school, bringing a conclusion to a tumultuous, I can read. I promise you, I can read. Tumultuous week after the Tar Heels stunning, my daddy owns the lake, the duck. Sorry, if you get that reference, you're goated. Okay. Tar Heels stunning loss to VCU in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Again, I joked about it a little bit, and it was a hardy har. Oh, how crazy would it be? No, they're not actually going to do this. I threw it out there. I said, after they blew a 19 point lead in one half. Well, it was kind of the tail end of the first, and then the whole second. After blowing a 19-point lead, is it a fireable offense to fire your head coach? And apparently UNC thought so. I mean, because at the same time, you got to look. Anybody remember? Now, I think Coach Venables is a great coach. I'm skipping genres, and we're jumping here. And we're going to talk about Oklahoma Sooners football. But, with how much the Sooners were up to Alabama and them blowing that lead. And, I mean, some of the historic... blown leads that Oklahoma's been a part of, like Lincoln Riley did one year, but he didn't get fired. He still spent a couple more seasons there before he went to USC. But I kind of said, maybe it could be a fireable offense because 19 points is 19 points. But at the end of the day, when people talk and it's like, what, if it happens, let's see it, because I'm not gonna come out and speculate, because like how I talked about a couple seconds ago, Florida's head coach, and how there's rumors of him going to Kentucky. It's like, why? Because I think that's what we do in the sports media is we start to, we come up with some articles, and when conversation is slow, we throw hypotheticals out there, and I just, again, kind of fallen trapped to it with Giannis trades, LeBron trades. I guess if we want to look at the NFL, still waiting for Tyreek to go back to KC. So it's like, yeah. Anyways, but let's continue. Stunning loss to VCU in the first round of the NCAA tournament, which when you look at North Carolina, who they are as a program when they were under Roy Davis, yeah, first round exit, abysmal. Which is so crazy. Another side tangent, as I give my thoughts too. I think we're in a different era. In college football, you can kind of feel it because we're in the post-Saban era of college football, where college football is very wide open. And I have been on record saying that for the last handful of years, where without Alabama kind of looming in the, the rear view, where Bama might run the SEC and then win the, and then get in the postseason. And with how we've already talked about it at length of Dabo's recruiting with the NIL. And, when you don't have a 5-star quarterback, we've seen, Clemson doesn't, get to the semifinals or at least to the national championship. And so, in college basketball, to kind of compare and contrast, I kind of feel the same way, sort of, where we look, maybe, I don't want to say we're going into the like an SEC era, because I know it was X amount of years between the last SEC titles and stuff, because in between it was scattered between Big East teams and ACC teams. But there's parts of me that think when Coach Izzo retires, Michigan State's not going to be in competition anymore. Like, maybe they might go every other year or something, but like with how historic Michigan State has been, look at Villanova, for example. Look at UNC. Look at UCLA there for a minute. For a minute, UCLA was not going to the tournament, and then with the head coach that they have now, I think him getting to the Final Four in 2021 bought him some time, and with the amount of loaded rosters that he has had over the years, I mean, that has definitely helped his case, which I know he came out recently in like a post game. They talked about, oh, if I could have another 5 million or something, that could help. And then like all the smart asses in the comments section were like, well, if we fire you, that could save us 5 million and stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of funny, but it with those comments, what we just saw between Iowa and Florida kind of proves 5 million. Now, again, to normal people, 5 million is a lot. 5 million is very life changing, but 5 million don't mean shit if you miss your shot. You know, stay with me while I cook here, but which is kind of a thought, because one video that I wanted to make that I haven't yet is I wanted to talk about Cinderellas and how the ideas of Cinderellas not existing anymore is total BS, because Iowa and Texas are in the Sweet 16. Did anybody predict that? No. And if you said you did, you're a liar, because we can go look on the March Madness Instagram page and notice, hey, actually only 2%, which were probably alums, picked Iowa to get this far, because what was the Sweet 16 matchup that majority of people were picking? Either Vandy, Florida, or Nebraska, Florida. I admit, I was in that corner, because I picked at first, through the stream when I was talking over it, I did pick Nebraska first, but then I came to my wits and said, Vanderbilt gassed these guys in the SEC tournament, and I think they beat them by like 20 plus points, but I said, you know what? I'm going to pick the hot hand. I'm going to pick Vanderbilt, and then we'll have a rematch where Florida gets the better of them, so that Florida can move on to the Elite Eight in the region final and match up with Houston, and then Houston's going to get their revenge and then move on to the Final Four, making their third Final Four appearance in the last 6 years, something like that. But anyways, let me get a swig here, and then we'll continue reading. But with UNC and kind of North Carolina's expectations, something and kind of a sentiment that I've sort of been thinking about is, and it's kind of the same thing with Saban at Alabama or Kirby Smart at Georgia, with kind of that era of college football, is a feeling that I sort of kind of get with college basketball, where we're in a different era, and you can just throw the umbrella term of it's the NIL era. You can throw that umbrella over it all, and it can cover all of it. But something that I was thinking of is, yeah, Tom Izzo's going to retire. Coach Pitino's going to retire. Coach Self, which, again, there were talks that, because like the headlines of, has Coach Self lost his fastball at Kansas? And it's like, are you kidding me? There are colleges who have missed out because, A, they're a smaller school and, you know, didn't run the table or go 31-0 in the MAC, and so they missed the tournament altogether. But, like, to have, now it's an expectation at a lot of these blue bloods, but to have a team that is consistently in March Madness, you would love to be a Duke, a Kansas, a North Carolina, a Villanova, a Michigan State, because look at Wichita State. Wichita State hasn't been to the dance in a couple years. What are some, like Louisville's in it, but I'm trying to think of Like Loyola Chicago had a run there from 2018 to about 2021 ish. Florida State's been a couple times. Xavier, Marquette, um, Syracuse. Syracuse hasn't been to the dance in a couple years. Which, in fact, let's go look it up. I'm actually genuinely curious because they got a new head coach. Um, appearance. Jim Boeheim, his last year. Wow. So they have not been. Wow. They have not been in 6 straight years. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, 5. Wow. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. Whoops. Forgot. My Hooters ad blocker was at 2021. So, anyways. Back to, because this is here because, whoop! Anyways. Because I don't. But I think, I don't know. With Jay Wright retiring from Villanova and Villanova not being a threat anymore, Roy Williams stepping down at UNC and UNC not being a threat anymore. Like, there's just, when Izzo leaves and he steps down at Michigan State, Michigan State's not going to be a threat anymore. And then we're going to get to a point where it's like, yeah, if we see UConn end up in the Final Four, if we see, I don't know if St. John's can go with Coach Pitino. Like, realistically, they probably can. But we could find ourselves, I think, in a situation where, like, with all these other huge blue bloods of college basketball not there, we could have new coaches like the coach for Syracuse, like, coming out of nowhere, kind of like how Florida was last year, or Bama. As much as I can, like, recall in the last handful of years, Alabama has come out of nowhere. Now, maybe Alabama fans can be like, dude, it's been like this for a while. We've been building. But as far as I've known, Alabama has never been a basketball school. It's always been a football school. And so now where we're seeing, yeah, Bama's been to the Final Four. They've been to the Elite Eight. They've been to, like, they've made some runs the last handful of years where they beat Michigan. Like, let me pull up the bracket here. Let's go back. Move. Where if Bama gets past Michigan, I think they could get to the Final Four. That's just me, because I think, because you take down Michigan, there goes the best team in that bracket, and whoever wins this one, I don't think they can beat Michigan, and kind of in the same thoughts of, well, I don't think they can beat Michigan. And if Michigan loses to Bama, like, they're definitely not. If Bama beats Michigan, then they're definitely not beating Bama. Does that make sense? Where I would actually rank it like this: Michigan, Bama, Tennessee, Iowa State. I don't see Iowa State. I've never seen Iowa State get to a region final or the Final Four. Out of this, I want to see Nebraska. Not gonna lie. Houston, but ugh, I don't like it. All right, let's go back to the top of the thing, though. Is there anything else we gotta read? Hold on. Oh, we're fine. Okay. The school did not specify the nature of Davis's departure in its statement Tuesday night, simply calling it a change in leadership. But in a post on Instagram, Davis said he was let go by the university and that his desire was to continue to coach at Chapel Hill. Davis has nearly $3.5 million of guaranteed money left on his deal. Well, what was the deal that he signed in 2021? Let's go through it. Through 10-year deal. Yeah, that's why. No, that is why. Because he's been the main guy since 2021. Yeah, because Roy Williams wasn't the coach in that 21 year. Or maybe the 21 year was his last March Madness appearance. That's 5 seasons. Here, let me look. Let's look at their March Madness history in the last 5 years. Okay, here we go. So this would be his. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He was the coach that year. Dude, I totally forgot. They did get to the final as an 8 seed. And then they missed it. Regional semifinal, first round. Okay, then that's why he got fired. First round. And then one of them was the 19 point. Other... How far are we? Oh, we're back in 57. Yeah. Which, again, look at this run for Roy Williams and all those years he was there. I think... I don't know. Maybe it probably was the back-to-back first-year exits. Yeah, I totally... Dude, I always forget about that 22 March Madness here. I don't know why. Like, it just... Maybe because it was Kansas that won it, and like I was like pulling real hard for the Tar Heels to win it that year. Yeah, they were an 8 seed too that year. So again, the whole Cinderella teams aren't real. 2022 had the NIL portal. 2022 they were still paying players, and an 8 seed went all the way. All right. Yeah. To a third extension, because I don't know how long Golden's been there. Yeah, but then McNamara for Syracuse, I think that's a big hire. And yeah, I don't know. I think it was a little, if I'm going to be completely honest, I think it was a little premature. I think it was a little premature. But 19 points was 19 points. I think if your all-star freshman didn't get, the hand injury and played in that game, they're beating VCU. Like, now do they beat Illinois? Absolutely not. Like, I do think Illinois probably would have boat raced North Carolina in the next round. But I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes a lot with coach firings. Sometimes I think it's maybe a year too early. Because I mean, gosh, the other coach, not carousel firing that people were talking about, which made me go like, what are we even talking about here? Was Coach Few, which in fact, let's actually go look and let's go see if where is it? I know you're here somewhere. Oh my gosh, you gotta scroll all the way freaking down to... There it is. There's no articles that talk about it. And again, anybody wants some Hooters? Hey, Hooters, I can be a spokesperson. If you need me to, I can do it. I know it's a tough job to go meet and talk business deals about food and your $9.99 shrimp deal. I know it's very difficult. I can go sit in these business meetings with these ladies and try to help them. Again, I know it's a sacrifice. It might be very tough, but I can do it. Okay, let me keep going here. But recently, like even with Coach Few, they were talking like should Gonzaga move on from Coach Few and fire him after, because he's been there since 2002. $1999. Holy shit. Holy shit. 27 years, bro. That is... that's funny. That is funny. Yeah, people... Let me see. Is it ever going to happen for Mark Few at Gonzaga? Michigan State's Tom Izzo says powerful. 3 biggest needs for the transfer portal this year. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, I have one. Hey, I might be going out on a limb here. Here's what could happen. How about your other all-star players? How about they start to step up in big games? How about we don't just leave it to a one-man band? And how about other players show up? How about, because honest to goodness, like I'm not bullshitting. I actually, I wanted to do anybody know the it's like video analysis. It's like Secret Base or Bleacher Report, or like they do video analysis where they have like a whole bunch of stats and like they do cool PowerPoint presentations. I will admit, I don't know how to do that kind of editing. But one video that I wanted to do was I actually got a lot of inspiration from, I think it was Depressed Ginger or something, where because he does like football videos and stuff, and he talks about just like, hey, whatever happened to, or like a KTO, because KTO also does football analysis videos. But I wanted to do like an analysis video. I want to say 2023, maybe 2020, because I wanted to do one for UCLA and I wanted to do one for Gonzaga, because in 2021, 22, and 23, I was hammering really hard on, okay, one of these years, Gonzaga or UCLA is going to win it again. Just because the seniors kept coming back. And because nowadays, in today's day and age, with college basketball, you're one and done. Like, for example, DJ, where the BYU one. BYU. AJ, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, AJ Devonta, he's not Sting. Okay, he's gone. He's going to be, which in fact, like if, here, I live under a rock because I actually don't know the standings. Let's go to the league here. Who's the number 1 team in the draft? The Pacers, Washington, Brooklyn. The Jazz could trade up and just keep him in Utah. Hey, I don't get paid the big bucks. Hey, let's try to make something happen there. I might be a little wrong for thinking something like this, but we could tank a couple more games. Look, we're only 5 games ahead. How many more games can Utah lose out? Huh? Come on. They can do this. Hold on. Let's go to the full schedule here. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Beat Washington, whatever. Okay, because give Washington a win so they can, drop higher a little bit. You're not going to beat Denver. You're not going to beat Phoenix or Cleveland or Denver again. Let the 2 seed Rockets and then let the 1 seed Thunder. Oh, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight losses. Come on. That'll put you in prime position to be the worst team in basketball. You lose 7 straight. Look at that. You come from the 5th worst team, roughly. Yeah, 5th worst. You drop 7 games in a row. Look at that. You're sitting at 21-57. Okay? You get AJ DeBonsta. He stays in Utah. Boom, baby. With also, well, I don't actually think they have Walter Clayton anymore. I think he got traded. Kevin Love. Bro, Kevin Love's on the... See, I didn't even know this. Nurkic is on there too? What the hell? See, I didn't even know. I don't care. Like, I kind of look at it from like a farther where it's like Jazz ain't winning. So, because I know like the Jazz or the Trailblazers or Sixers or Rockets, because I know they're not winning. It's like I don't care who's on the team. They ain't winning. But yeah, you tank, you go get a good draft pick, you go pick a winner chicken dinner. But with Coach Few, one of the I mean, I'm thinking a lot about no, don't use Chrome. I'm thinking a lot about the 2021 Gonzaga team. I mean, just look at how many... 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we can go with this photo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could throw Chet Holmgren in there as well. 6. So 6 prospects, arguably 6 NBA prospects that have come through in the last handful of years. But like the video deep dive analysis that I wanted to do was Gonzaga. I mean, hell, even I remember, dude, I think I even have this freaking Sports Illustrated magazine somewhere, stored away. Oh, him too. I forgot him. Yeah, they freaking, the amount of star-studded cast members that Gonzaga had, which the way that their like relevancy panning out in the NBA, it's very different. Like it's night and day. It's kind of weird. Which that's a whole nother video for another time. But the video idea that I had that I wanted to go over was I wanted to talk about how Gonzaga could win or why they could win, and kind of basically the main point. You can throw Tennessee and Creighton in this conversation as well, and maybe even UCLA is with the one and done kind of mantra that college basketball is. A lot of these guys came back and they continued to come back. Like I think he was a senior, so he went to the draft with his stock being as high as it was after playing in the national championship, having a buzzer shot, beating UCLA. He ended up going to the draft. And then the other one too. I can't even remember who these guys were drafted by because, again, they're all top draft prospects, and so they're going to go to bad teams like the Hornets, the Wizards, the Raptors, And then from there, they get traded around, go to the G League, go down, go up. Oh, voice crack. Awkward voice crack. Let me get a swig real quick. But the video is just going to talk about how if you compare this team to Villanova, you compare this team to um, any other national championship winning team. The only other team I think I could compare it to is UConn as of late, or Florida. Florida especially, because Florida had a lot of guys go to the draft. But I don't know. Like, you look at Villanova's squad and how many, like, we joke that the Villanova Knicks, because how many of them were on the Knicks together at one point, and just like, I have not seen, of watching college basketball, I have not seen a team full of so many NBA guys that didn't win a title in recent history. There have probably been plenty of years and eras of, well, clearly you forgot, you're excluding the 80s UCLA Bruins or the 90s, Seton Hall or something. I don't know, but it's like, dude, I wasn't alive in the 60s, 70s, and 90s to know, oh, this is when, because didn't Magic play at like Michigan State or something? Or like the Fab Five with Michigan. It's like, I was not alive during that time. So, yeah, no, I did not know that this starting five team who won the national championship had also NBA All-Stars on their team. Didn't know that. I wasn't alive. I wasn't alive at the time to witness it, but that's what the whole video essay. Long story short, that's what the video essay would have been about. Don't know how I would have edited it or made it cool. It could have been a 20-minute video, a 10-minute video. I don't know, but it would have gone through. I would have done a deep analysis of watching tournament games, and just go over that 22 squad, the 21 squad could have been the teams to win it. Because Gonzaga, they've been to the dance. They've been pretty far. Which, in fact, I think they do have a documentary that just came out or something, following Coach Few and the Gonzaga program. But they freaking, it's so silly. It is so silly to say that Gonzaga should move on or fire Coach Few because he's never going to win it or something, because the reason why people talk about Gonzaga basketball is because of Coach Few. That is why. Which we saw with Utah's guy. They're looking for a head coach right now. Someone just left. Yeah, he's going to Cincinnati, which, again, I think he's from Cincinnati, so I understand that. But because I don't know who his successor is going to be. But dude just wins the Mountain West. They get bullied by Arizona, but Arizona's deciding to play competent basketball this year versus years past. And saw the paycheck and went, so, which again, don't blame him. Yeah, 78-66. So yeah, they were kind of bullied. But again, if he stayed, let's say that he stayed, or the next guy that comes, you look at Coach Whittingham, you look at Coach Sweeney, Coach Saban. I'm switching and I'm going over to, no, let's go back to basketball. But Coach Williams, Coach Krzyzewski, Coach Izzo, there were so many coaches where if I were to generalize, because of what the West Coast Conference is, which I don't even know what the new conference detail. They are going to the Pac-12. Yes, they're going to the Pac-12 with Boise, Colorado, Fresno. Yes. Okay, I forgot that. I totally forgot that. I did not, because the Pac-12. Oh boy, I could yap about the Pac-12 for days. I've already made videos about my thoughts on the Pac-12. But if if I were to be honest, and again from a generalized stance, where Gonzaga was and like the West Coast Conference, we don't we don't look at that conference in the same light that we look at the SEC or the ACC or the Big East or anything. You know what I mean? But if you have a coach that's at that program that is taking his Cinderella team and yeah, we're going to March Madness every single year, and not only are we going to March Madness, we're getting pretty far. We're getting past the Sweet 16. We're upsetting your team, and then we're being runners up to whether it's North Carolina in 2017 or Baylor in 2021, which again, I think a lot of people, myself included, thought Gonzaga was going to win it in 2021, which is what surprised us when Baylor just blew them out. But like they just, I think they made the West Coast Conference. They brought a little bit of light to it and kind of carried that conference because St. Mary's wasn't winning their tournament or even March Madness games, and kind of at the same time, like it's kind of like I mean the Florida State and Clemson for college football for a handful of years when the ACC, because now that Florida State and Clemson haven't been competing for the ACC championship in college football, people are trashing on it and saying like, oh, the ACC's nothing, with yeah, it just, and like we're seeing a resurgence kind of now with the SEC in basketball getting a little bit more popular. But like, yeah, you look at the handful of recent national champions, they've come out of the ACC or they've come out of the Big East. Who's been able to compete with those bigger conferences? Gonzaga. Have they won those games? No. And so, like, with saying that, Gonzaga's been able to compete. And so I think it'd be very silly for Gonzaga to be like, no, we're done. We're done. Because what if in a handful of years, Miami, Ohio, what if in a handful of years, Miami restructures their offense, and then, hey, wouldn't you know, for the next, and again, this is a generalization. I mean, we don't live in this day and age anymore of college basketball, but like, what if their head coach stays around, and then for the next 27 years, by the year 2050, when Miami, Ohio has been to like 2 national championships, 3 or 4 Elite Eights, they're like, well, yeah, they made the Mid America. They made it pretty good. They carried that conference for a little bit, and it's like, yeah, they did. Because look who, in these last almost 30 years, look who they've gone through. One year they went through Duke. One year they beat Michigan State in the national championship. One year you see what I mean? Like, it just, there are so many. Look here with the standings. There are so many conferences and leagues. I believe there's 32 of them. Like, because I can just scroll and scroll and scroll. And if funny enough, I scrolled all the way down to the West Coast. But like, if your team from the Mount West is going to turn into the Pac-12 here any day now. But like, Ivy League, it's different because it's the Ivy League. But like with Conference USA, if you run Conference USA for 20 years, they're never going to kick you out of the building. They're going to be like, well, you actually put our program on the map. Like, look at the Hoosiers. They just won the national championship. Kirk Signetti ain't going nowhere. Like, which in fact, I want to go look at his. Let's go look at his contract extension. 8-year contract extension through 2033. Yeah. Now, if from this day on, after winning the national championship for the next 3 years, let's go back to let's do Indiana football history. Excuse me. Sorry, people. The Kirk Signetti era. I want to see. Which again, huge turnaround. But I want to see the I want to see it like year by year. Where it shows me record by year. Hold on, let's go. Because I'm trying to make a joke here. Hold on, the punchline. Get the f out of my way. Shit. Okay, but like, so he just won the national championship. Okay, going 16-0, and he's through the 2032 season. Okay, if in the next 5 years he goes 3-9, 4-8, 2-10, 6-2, 5-7, 5-7, yes, by the third year in a row that they go 6-6 and miss a bowl game, yeah, they're gonna want him out of town. But for now, it's like, no, you won the national championship, you're staying. Because only time will, for hell's sakes, which this is the funny joke with Ohio State, is they lost to Michigan, they wanted Ryan Day fired, they wanted him out of town, and then he wins the national championship, then it's like, okay, I guess you can stay. Okay. Like yeah. Wait, but yeah, no, only time will tell. Like if Ohio State, because I think if Ohio State were to put together a season like how Steve Sarkisian did with Texas this year, where they go 9-3, miss the playoff. Oh, Columbus is gonna ride, because that's just what the expectation is. Kind of with college football, where there is a different level of expectation for Michigan and Nebraska. Like, nobody expects Nebraska to do anything this year for college football. Nobody really expects Michigan to do anything either. And if you're reading into people thinking that Michigan's going to go on a magic run or win the national championship, get to the college playoff or whatever under Whittingham's first year, let's pump the brakes a little bit for one. Because, like, I think the biggest heat would be on Indiana, Ohio State, SC, because Lincoln Riley, Oregon, and then Campbell coming over from Iowa State. Because I think Penn State fans are a little bit more demanding than Michigan fans. Because I think Michigan fans are still kind of living in 2023, where it's like, we're good. We won the national championship. We're good. But you look at Iowa with their head coach having I believe he has the longest tenure now. But like, they're not getting rid of him because they have had sustained success. Because you look at other, let's go to, where's college football? College football. Let's just go to the standings. 50, holy shit. Nebraska has a $50 million roster. Dude, that is, you might as well just stack all your money in a pile like the Joker and just light it on fire, because Nebraska... Let's go do something real fun. Hold on. Don't make me do it. Do not make me do it. I'm gonna do it. Get out of my way. Get out of my way. These are locations, right? Yeah, at versus K. Win, win, win. I can see him winning 3 in a row. Win, win. No. Well, actually, I can see them upsetting Indiana. I really could. I could see them upsetting Indiana because October. Oh yeah, this has trap game written all over it. But at Eugene, no. Um, then they're not going to beat Ohio State, and they're not going to beat Iowa. So there's 1 loss, 2 loss, 3 loss, and then another. Because 1, 2, 3. One of these, they'll lose one of these. Because I don't think, like with just how the course of the season goes, they're not going to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're not going to start 6-0 and then lose one and then finish 5-0. Like that's not, no. Which, in fact, they might drop this one against Michigan State because maybe Michigan. Who's to say Michigan State's not 0-3? And it's like, hey, we need to get a win here. Come on now. But yeah, at Oregon, one of these two is going to be trap game. Especially if to this point they only have like 1 or 2 losses, they'll be probably ranked in the top 25 somewhere. And so you have an unranked Illinois team or an unranked Rutgers team welcoming, 22 ranked Nebraska. Come on, that's got upset written all over it. So then Ohio State. I don't even need to think about it. And then Iowa. So 1, 2, maybe a 3rd loss somewhere in here, a 4th loss right there. 7-5, 8-4. 7-5, 8-4. That's probably what their record's going to be. I could be wrong. They win the whole damn thing. Do I think they will? Probably not. But you have teams like Notre Dame, Georgia, Alabama, like Arkansas. Arkansas would love to be in contention every year. Auburn, Florida, LSU. Like, I think, because it's kind of time back. I'm rambling a little bit, which sorry people, but when you have a competent organization, team, coaching staff, and all, like, you get to be like Alabama where you compete every year, or like Georgia where you get to compete every year, versus South Carolina had Heisman expectations, and there were so many expectations with this team and this team, and like look at Florida. Now I think Florida caught the short end of the stick because their schedule was not favorable at all. Out of their 12 games, 10 of them were against ranked opponents. So, go figure. But, I don't know. Like, I bet Kentucky fans or Mississippi State fans or, Wisconsin fans, Maryland fans, UCF, West Virginia, Pitt, Cal. Like, if their team could compete every year, they'd want to have a team that gets to compete every year. But Virginia Tech, I haven't seen Virginia Tech. I haven't seen Boston College, Syracuse. I haven't seen any of these teams compete. Ever. In all my years of watching college football. I was going to sneeze, not anymore. But yeah, never seen NC State compete for a national title. Louisville was those 2 years with Lamar. Florida State. Florida State's weird. They're an anomaly because like every dude they freaking. Oh, he transferred to the Seminoles. Okay, I had no clue. I haven't kept up at all with the portal for um, college football at all. All right. Um, okay. Hmm. Which I think these two teams are going to be good for college football because Dampier was only a sophomore, right? I think he was only a sophomore, and then we knew Bear. We knew he was a freshman, freaking freshman, dude. Um, so, anyways, I've been rambling. I've been rambling a very long time. Let's get into what we're going to talk about. We got a little sidetracked. Let's talk about the bracket, shall we? Um, so yeah. Here's the thing. With Duke and St. John's, I loved how there was this little nugget that someone threw out there where every single time Duke has won a national championship, they have gone through St. John's at some point in time. Loved that little nugget because those are like, I love interesting stats like that because it's like, that's actually pretty cool. Um, I'm going to be honest. I'm not bought on Duke yet. I'm not bought in on Duke as much as I'm bought in on Michigan State or UConn or Michigan. And the reason why is these past two games. Now, we've already gone through the first weekend. Um, I know some teams have settled down from the highs and lows of their conference tournament, the round of 64, the round of 32, and all that. Like, this is the Sweet 16. I think teams are more settled in and ready to go. Um, with that being said, though, I don't know. I really, I can see Duke. I can see Duke getting to the Final Four. I really could. Now, I don't know. I don't know. It's tough because it's like there's parts of me where some of the mistakes that TCU made at the end of the game or Siena, I don't see St. John's making those same mistakes. But I'm gonna be real though, and I'm gonna be honest. I am gonna stick with my guns though, because I think I picked Duke, and then I picked UConn, and then I ended up picking UConn going. Because I'm gonna be honest. Um I think the best coached team, and I think the best coach out of these four coaches is probably Coach Izzo, and then probably Hurley. Um, some tells me St. John's probably wins this, and then out of Michigan State and UConn, I can see UConn, and so then we probably do have a rematch of the Big East final. Um, St. John's has gone back to back in Big East tournament play, and then like they kind of switched off a little back and forth with the regular season series. I This time around, I don't think it would be as much of a blowout if they did eventually play UConn. I think if St. John's played Michigan State though, something tells me St. John's is going to be a little bit more disciplined and a little bit more set and ready to go. Um, I don't know. So let me pick St. John's here. Um, out of this, I don't care who wins. I don't care who wins this game because whoever wins this game, I'm going to end up picking them to beat Duke, even though these are just, ugh, it's so. I mean, dude, this is a Final Four matchup. This is a Final Four matchup. Like these teams are just, it's awesome. Out of Iowa and Nebraska, I'm gonna roll with the Huskers. I like just kind of the Cinderella, and the funny thing too is, like, yes, we label Cinderella for teams that are double-digit seeds, but I think considering that Nebraska's never won a March Madness game ever in the history. Sorry, I had to double check, make sure I wasn't muted. Okay, let me continue that. My bad. But considering that they've never actually won a game, history-wise, and they've got two under their belt, with how the Vanderbilt game ended, I think, I mean, we've seen it kind of in history. You know, if history's taught us anything with some of these teams, you know, the NC States, the Loyola Chicagos, the North Carolinas, when teams catch momentum like this is where they go on their run, and they start to have their run. And so, no, I would not be surprised if Nebraska beats Iowa and then upsets Houston, and then gets in the final four. But they've gone farther than they've ever gone in history, and I like how far Nebraska's gone. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna ride with that hot hand. I'm gonna pick Nebraska, and then with Illinois and Houston, I'm not gonna think about it too much. I'm going to pick Houston. Because this Houston team lost to Wisconsin in overtime. And it's harder. I think they've been tested. Both of these teams have been tested. I don't think Houston or Illinois have been tested. And so I think this is their true first road test. Houston was runners-up in the Big 12, and so, like, I think they've played higher competition as of late. Now, again, these games happened over a week ago, but I don't know. Just something's telling me that even though Illinois at one point was blown out Penn by over 40 points, something just tells me, like, yeah, you're in the Sweet 16, but who have you played to get you ready? You haven't played in any close games where we have a nail biter back and forth. We're throwing haymakers, and I'd feel that way for Bama too, because there's parts of me where I think, I don't know. We'll get there in a second, but I'll pick Houston. Plus, I think Houston's coached a little better. And I just feel I know the Houston team a little bit more. I've watched them more than the Illinois team. Out of Tennessee and Iowa State, I'm going to roll with Tennessee because, look, they've been to the Elite Eight a handful of times in these last couple years. And then for Michigan-Bama, I'm going to roll with Michigan because Michigan is one of the most complete teams. Michigan's pretty complete. UConn is pretty complete. Arizona is a pretty complete team. Duke and all these East teams are pretty complete. Where I've seen, like, when they get in their lulls where, they've had a scoring drought for the last 3 minutes, we watched Louisville go on a 7-0 run, and Michigan was able to calm the waters a little bit and then get back in gear. So I'll pick Michigan, I'll pick Tennessee, Nebraska, Houston. I am going to roll with the upset here with Arkansas. I'm going to have Arkansas and I'm going to have Purdue. But you know what? I would not be surprised if... I don't think we're going to have so many upsets where um, the Final Four ends up looking like the 2023 bracket where we only have one blue blood in the Final Four. I'm thinking uh, with how Texas, I think Texas is a little bit more. You know what? Right now, I'm gonna pick Texas and Arkansas, and then out of Arkansas and Texas, I'll pick. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I'm kind of rolling with the hot hand, but I'm also rolling with Arkansas is kind of a one man show, and if that one man show starts to slow down, I mean, we saw Arkansas kind of slow down last year against Texas Tech, and they end up losing to Texas Tech um, in the Sweet 16, I think. But I don't like this because now I'm overthinking it. Because Texas has kind of shown they're just a little bit more of a complete team. Um, damn. I don't like this at all because I don't think Texas is going to get to the Final Four. Um, I'll pick Arkansas. I'm just going to roll with Arkansas because I don't see Arizona. Sorry, I've seen Arizona blow way too many games they should have won. I'm not trusting it. So give me Arkansas, give me Texas for now, and then Arkansas in the Final Four. Michigan in the Final Four, Houston in the Final Four. So Houston, Arkansas, Michigan, and then out of the East, I still want to see Sparty. So give me Michigan State, give me St. John's, give me Michigan State when St. John's and Michigan State play in the region final. And then out of Michigan State and Houston, give me Michigan State. And then out of Michigan and Arkansas, no, we're not having a Michigan State final. No, that's not happening. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still rolling with whoever wins in the East. They're probably gonna win the whole thing. I don't know. I don't freaking know. But that's who I'll pick. That's who I'll pick so far. Out of that side of the bracket. I don't know. It's just a little up in the air about it. A little up in the air about it, but